And the Word was made flesh and lived among us. And this is Jesus Christ, Emmanuel, God with us. Welcome to Mission Alive. This is Roger coming from the MSC Mission Office. We've been talking of Jesus' mission as he was sent into the world by God, by his Father, to us, to come to us. And the mission is in a particular time. Jesus came to Israel at a particular time. Why God chose that time, only God knows. At any time in the Jewish history, there would have been controversy, political difficulties, whatever the economics were. Many factors would have been shaping that time. At the time of Jesus, it was under the Roman Empire, the Roman colonial rule. The Israelite king was Herod, who was a weak, inadequate figure. And then you had all the different leadership groups and roles in at the time. But Jesus came in a particular time. Today is the feast of St. Ambrose, and he lived in a particular time. He was born in 339, died 397, at the end of the Roman Empire. That was his time. And as an empire collapses, so things change. A lot of the things that people knew started to collapse. Leadership structures, political structures start to collapse or contract. Ambrose saw as his role of trying to shape a church, a model of church that would rise above the ruins of Rome. And that was his time. When I was in Papua New Guinea 40-something years ago, it was just post-independence time. I didn't know the pre-independence Papua New Guinea. I was there after independence. That was a particular time, and it's a time that will never be repeated. I saw many things still living on from the colonial time, but that time was finished. People were changing, people's attitudes were changing, many things were changing in Papua New Guinea at the time. We all live in a particular time. In the 1950s, the world saw the collapse of the empires, the British Empire, the French Empire, the Germans, to what extent it was, and the world changed. The world became a different place. Saw the rise of Russia and the USA as superpowers. Now we see another change, rise of China and India in that role. We've seen the rise of Japan as a major economic power. And so the times continue to change. The mission can only be done in a time, a particular time. Jesus carried out his mission in that time. Ambrose carried out his mission in his time. And so on through the history of the church, the history of the world. People went on mission, people did things, people proclaimed the good news in many places in a particular time. And it can only be done in a time. So in our time, now, is a particular time in the history of the world. And all the different things that make up this time are with us. Particular one this year is this COVID crisis, this pandemic, and that's changing the world. How we will be afterwards, we don't know yet. We don't know. But it's a particular time, and we have to live through it. We can't hark back to another time. And in my life, we've seen changes in the church from the Second Vatican Council. The world had changed drastically. The church needed to change drastically. The church did. We're in a particular time. We can't go back. We can't go back to a previous era, no matter what we try and do. We have to keep moving forward, and we have to take on our mission in this time, now, not harking back to another place. So it means finding new methods, new ways of doing, new ways of proclaiming the word, new ways of living as church in our time, in our place. So it's a new time, it's a new mission. And we are called to live in it now. And we can't do anything else but live it in this time. Just as Jesus was born at the time he was and lived in his time, with all the difficulties that were there at the time, or the complexities of that history, and he was part of that, and he had to live in that time and to know that time, and he preached the good news to the people at the time in ways that were appropriate to his time. And we'll see more about that in the time of Jesus as we go through this time of Advent. So in our time now, in the world as it is now, our mission is there, our mission to proclaim the good news to people always and everywhere. Have a great day, our mission. Thank you.